Okay, once you have sampled all of your marker colors on all 6 of your designs in your packet, and you have chosen those colors because they show contrast really well, the next thing you're going to do is move on to your final project, and I'm going to show you how we set this up. So in order to create a cube that has 6 sides, we have to start with a template that looks like a cross to begin with. So you're going to take this stencil and a large piece of drawing paper, and the first thing you're going to do is set that stencil so that the edge, the sides of the stencil plus the top edge touch 3 sides of the large drawing paper. Move it until it is exactly on the sides and the top edge where it's lined up. You're going to have a little bit of a space at the bottom edge, and that's when you know you've got it lined up correctly. So I'm going to trace this stencil. I want to stand my pencil up straight and tall so it slides right along the edge of the stencil. If I stand it up tall, my pencil should not go underneath the stencil. It's when I tip my pencil at a side that it slides under the template, and then you don't get an exact copy of the stencil. So I'm going to trace around all the edges, holding it still with the hand that's not holding my pencil. And then when I finish, I'm going to take that stencil off and return it. But I want to check to make sure I got all the sides. Now I forgot to trace this edge, so I'm going to line my stencil up again. And then now I'm going to trace that line I was missing. Now I'm going to check, and this one was traced correct. The next step that you're going to do is you're going to use the small square stencil that is 4 inches by 4 inches, and it matches the size of the boxes that were printed on your rough draft space. So I'm going to take this stencil and I'm going to line it up right along one of the side edges of the cross. And I want to get it right up along the edge of the paper. And I only need to trace one edge of the square because my pencil lines are already drawn for the other side, and then the edge of the paper makes up the third side. So I'm going to trace just this edge. Now I've got my first box drawn. Now I'm going to move that square over, line up along the sides and along the sides here, and now I'm going to trace the 3 sides that are missing. And then if I missed an edge, if it didn't quite copy, retrace it. Okay, now this one should have already been made for me because it already had the 2 pencil lines drawn and then the edge of the paper made up the third one. So now I'm going to go down the long side of my stencil, and I want to line it up right against this edge, and now I'm going to trace this line. What's going to be left is these edges. We call these tabs. You want this kind of trapezoid shape created next to the side of the square. And then I'm going to go down the cross, tracing the 3 sides that are missing. And I'm going to move that one last time, line it up, and I'm going to trace the 3 sides that are missing. So I should have these tabs on the edges of the bottom portion of the cross and the top portion of the cross. The ones going across 3 ways just have smooth straight lines. So this is now my drawing space to transfer my ideas from my rough draft packet onto my final. You decide where they get placed on the cross. Start out drawing in pencil only to get the design in place, and then once you have that in place, then you'll switch to your Sharpie markers and you'll fill in with Sharpie markers.